Alrighty, let me check out what we're going to talk about in our next videos.
A few moments later.
Oh my god, dude, are you crying? Other me, have you seen what we're gonna talk about in the next 4 videos? I actually forgot. Is it that bad? No! It's beautiful. After I read it, I couldn't stop crying. Look at it for yourself. Just look at it. Calm down, dude. Calm down. Now I'll read it.
A few moments later.
Bro, you were right. It is beautiful. I know, right? I know. Guys, seriously, you can already hit like, subscribe, and share this video to as many people as possible because you're about to get punched in the face by the love of Jesus in these next 4 videos. What's up, peeps? How's everybody doing? So guys, in our last video, we learned about the mind of the king and how it is the access for us to live in God's divine wisdom for our lives. We talked about how wisdom is a calling from God that we should live in perfect harmony between reason and emotions. So in this video, we're going to explore this emotional side of God and the kingdom, which we can clearly see in his eyes. Therefore, this topic of the next videos will be called the eyes of the king. Due to tradition, we tend to think that God isn't that emotional. But we can check out the Bible and we'll discover that he has very intense emotions and very strong feelings.
Perhaps it is the context in which words are spoken that give them the power or meaning. I love you, dog!
What's amazing is that we, as the masterpiece of God's creation, are where his emotions are directed. He has very strong feelings towards us. He can feel strong joy towards us, strong disappointment, strong jealousy, strong love. God has special feelings towards us humans that he doesn't even have for angels. No way! Now, what makes it so special? What does God see in us for him to feel this way towards us? You ready to discover the answer to that? Alright, let's go! We are going to kick off this topic on a very beautiful, fascinating, and not so famous story in the Bible. It takes place in Genesis 16, and I'm just going to read from verse 11 to 13. The angel told him, "Behold, you are with child, and you will bear a son, and you shall name him Ismael." God hears, because the Lord has heard and paid attention to your persecution, suffering. He, Ismael, will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against every man, continually fighting, and every man's hand against him. And he will dwell in defiance of all his brothers. Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her, "You are God who sees." For she said, "Have I not, even here in the wilderness, remained alive, after seeing him who sees me with understanding?" Okay, time to sprinkle some context here for you guys to understand what's going on in this story. So I hope you guys are familiar with the story of Abraham. God chose Abraham that through his descendants and his family, God would be able to bring all mankind back into his presence. And through his family, he would bless all the families of the world. There was one small problem. Sarah, his wife, she was barren and she couldn't have a baby.
No!
No! Sarah suggested to Abraham that he would have a son with her Egyptian servant called Hagar. Guys, just to be clear, we're in ancient times. This was normal for them. The wife of a man could have children in her name through her female servant. But we're gonna find out that this wasn't a very good idea.
Why? 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 Why?
So Sarah's idea was soon to backfire against her. God had promised that she would miraculously have a child. But when God was taking too long, she tried to solve things her way. After Hagar became pregnant, she changed the way she looked at her mistress. Yeah, she gave her the stink eye. And guys, Sarah did not like the stink eye. She really didn't like it. So Sarah started mistreating Hagar really badly. She humiliated her so badly that it made her run away from them. So in this story, Hagar was running back to Egypt, her home. But God found her in a well in the wilderness and spoke with her.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Guys, this story may not look like it, but it is one of the most significant stories in all the Bible. The angel of the Lord shows up to help Hagar. Now, the angel of the Lord is the royal glory of God appearing in a human form. The angel of the Lord is the pre-incarnate Jesus. And this is the first time that he appears in all the Bible. And he shows up to help an Egyptian servant girl. We all know what the Egyptians were going to do to the Israelites in further generations. So what was the angel of the Lord doing here exactly?
Why?
Well, Hagar was not part of God's covenant people. She was a servant, a foreigner, and she had nothing to do with God's plan to rescue humanity at that time. Yet, the way that God helps her here in this story is so deep. How he sees her pain, how he sees her misery, and how he sees her brokenness is proof that God sees all of us. This encounter with God and Hagar shows us a universal truth. That means that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you've done, no matter if you believe in Jesus or not, God sees you. He knows you and he cares for your pain. God in this story was the first person that called Hagar by her name. Everyone else called her, oh, that servant girl, or even that slave girl. People were just trying to use her, and when she wasn't good enough, they treated her like garbage. You see, guys, slavery, rejection, discrimination dehumanizes people in such a way that they lose sense of who they are. God not only makes it clear that he sees Hagar's pain, but he shows her that he sees a bright future ahead of her. He promised her that her son would be a wild donkey.
I just know before this is over, I'm gonna need a whole lot of serious therapy. Look at my eye twitching.
Why?
Yeah. I know that sounds a little weird, but a wild donkey was a metaphor of something that was free. God promised to this servant girl that if she trusts in him, God would make all of her children free from all the pain that she went through as a servant and a slave. This story is also for us to learn that God sees us not only in our present, but he sees us in our future. He doesn't see us how we are today, but he sees us on who we will become tomorrow. Hagar probably saw herself as a lonely, unloved, and forgotten slave girl, but God saw her as a loved, known, and special woman who would one day make a change for all her family. Isn't that beautiful? God looks at me and you with the eyes of compassion and mercy. When we understand this, it can powerfully change our lives. So in our next video, we're gonna study a little more on what does it mean that God is compassionate.
Wow.
Thank you guys for watching this part of the video. Don't forget to like, to share it with your friends, and hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.